Call to order the Ironton City Council meeting of May 20th, 2024. With us this evening for our invocation is Councilman Pastor Robbie Brown from Beat Hood Church. After, we will have the Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone is standing, remain standing, please.
Great. Let's pray. God, we are so grateful for your presence here tonight. And God, we just pray that you would be with us throughout the course of this meeting. And God, we are grateful to get to live in this city. And God, we just pray that you would help us to make decisions and to lead well and make decisions that are a blessing to our community and to the people around us. God, help us to serve well, help us to love well. And God, we just pray that you would be with each decision made here tonight. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Robbie. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Brown.
Here.
Cleary.
Here.
Haney.
Here.
Harvey.
Here.
Hawk.
Here.
Klein.
Here.
Harry.
Here. This time I entertain a motion to read from suspend the 24-hour rule for Resolution 2024 being added to the amended agenda and read from the amended agenda. Haney, sorry. I guess I made that motion. Roll call, please.
Brown.
Aye.
Cleary.
Aye.
Haney.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
Harry.
We will read from the amended agenda, which includes Resolution 2424 this evening. Next is the approval of minutes from the Finance Committee meeting of May the 9th, 2024, the regular council meeting of May 9th, 2024. Are there any errors, omissions, additions to those minutes? Hearing none, those meeting minutes will stand approved. Next, we have audience participation. If you would like to address the Ironton City Council, please step to the podium, state your name and address. You have 5 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Mary Ann Tessie. I live at 1507 Karen Street. And I attended the City Council meeting on May 10th along with about 50 or 60 Green Valley and Florence Avenue residents to voice concerns over what's going on in the area with the sewer project that's going on. I understand that video, it was not legible online, so nobody can watch it other than a few minutes of it. So I just kind of wanted to go back over what I had said before. I don't have at this point a lot of the issues that people do have. My current concern is issues I may have that I don't know I have. First though, I'm going to bring up the roads. They're still bad. I don't know if you came down there on Saturday, but I don't understand why they can't have someone on call if we're going to get 2 days of rain and have someone drive those roads, because they were just mud pits. I mean, we're talking divots 3 foot. I drive a Camry. All I do is scratch the bottom of my car. So I called today. I was told you can call Allred. I called, and I was told by Margaret, the owner, that some things are covered and some things aren't covered. And I kind of stopped the conversation there. I didn't go any farther. So I don't know if when people were asking if there's a number or a procedure or somebody we need to contact, I haven't heard of anything since the last council meeting other than call the number on the truck. There's no housekeeping. Right now we've got a big metal slab that probably could be used in one of those divots just laying in the middle of our road. Don't know why. We've got people with children that have big concrete items in their yards. They're not being used. You paid $700,000, $800,000 for a piece of property to use for this project. Go stick that stuff on that piece of property instead of in our yards. I've got big divots in my yard. Who am I supposed to contact to clean up my yard? It was a nice yard, but now I've got big divots where they just take their equipment, just take chunks of your yard out, and they go on down the road. I mean, that's senseless when you've got this huge amount of money you paid for this property. It don't take them any longer to come all the way down Karen Street to pick that equipment up than to go right over there to that lot and pick it up and take it to wherever they need it. There's definitely, I watched a little girl today. We have those catch basins. There's 2 orange, not cones, but barrels. Nothing around them but black, this big at the bottom of it. I watched her run towards one of those holes and her mom caught her. Now what do you think would have happened if she dove into that hole? Or if those rocks gave away? Because right now the rocks just give way because of the water, because of the people driving on them so often. This is just some of the items that we're facing on Karen Street. And I mentioned the issue, I have a 1959 foundation. My pipes are that old. I asked Kevin Wood, did you do any calculations on the age of our concrete slabs and our pipes or anything on how much weight is on those streets? I had a 37-ton excavator in front of my house with 4 20-ton trucks. Don't tell me with all that rain that's not moving that, and I consulted the civil engineer again. You move that earth, you're doing damage underneath there. Thankfully, I don't have a basement, but I still have a 1959 foundation that I'm concerned about. And like I said, I'm not nearly as bad off as some of these people that I talked to today. It's terrible. It's just really bad. And you know something, Mr. Brown, you said when you pray to serve the people, you're not serving us. You're losing this war. You really are. You guys are really dropping the ball on this.
I'll interrupt you right now then. I know this isn't going to be a popular response, but this legislative body does not have day-to-day control over operations of the city. So while we hear your concerns, and this is a public forum, and they're valid concerns, there's not a single thing that any of us sitting up here can do about those day-to-day concerns. That is the job of the mayor, and it's the job of Allard Construction and the IBI, Arcadis, that oversees that project. Our job is to fund it or to not fund it.
Well, then I'll turn to the mayor.
No, because this is not a mayor's meeting.
You just said that, though, that the mayor is in charge.
I did.
So where's the accountability,
this is a city council meeting.
For the city, if you hired Arcadius, where's the accountability?
The accountability is with the mayor's office.
And you can't get a response from the mayor's office. I've tried.
I understand your concern.
Many people have tried.
But again, the city council does not tell the mayor what to do.
I understand that.
We fund the projects and we write the laws. That's all we can do. And I hear you, but this is not a public debate about what's going on Karen Street. We funded the project and handed it over.
It's just not Karen. I just live on Karen. There's other people out here that's got a lot, like I said, a lot worse.
And we did what we thought was in the best interest of that entire section of town by funding that project.
Yeah, well, you failed.
That's your opinion.
It is.
Anyone else that would like to address the Ironton City Council?
Hi guys, Michael Lutz, 1529 South 5th Street. I'm just here to tell a story real quick, and it's in regard to the moratorium that's coming up for vote. The state is now certifying based on their standards. They're certifying agencies and their homes, so that part's complete. You guys have done the zoning. You also have CARF accreditation to fall back on. So I think maybe it's time to start talking about that again for you guys. It's just a suggestion, but the state is done, and some of the agencies are currently certified. You know, in 1935, Alcoholics Anonymous was founded, right? By 2 guys, one guy from New York and one guy in Akron. Those guys got together, they were both alcoholics, and one was in recovery and helped the other guy, and they stayed sober the rest of their lives. Prior to that, a guy named Roland Hazard met with Dr. Carl Young, right? And it was the same basic method that was used that he was able to stop drinking. Now, I'm going to tell you who Roland Hazard is real quick. He was the CEO of Cement Salt, which is now Honeywell. Went from Allied Chemical to Allied Cement. But it was his company that owned that. Visited here several times. 1948, there's a meeting that started here in Ironton, so it was 13 years after the first two guys met, and the meeting was here in Ironton. It had been in that same church until this year, when it met twice a week, but met at least once a week. Been in that same church since 1948, and this year the church decided they no longer want to continue that. I'm not going to say the church, I'm not going to say the people like this, because I don't really, that has nothing to do with it. But I was involved in those conversations, and it concerned me because of the perception that isn't really reality in regards to recovery in Ironton, Ohio. A meeting was shut down that's been here since 1948 because of perception that recovery is bad in Ironton, Ohio. Now, I'm just relaying what I was told in that meeting, in those discussions. I don't think anyone up here believes that recovery is bad, but I think the perception of the community is not good at it, and I'm disappointed in that. This city is a beacon for recovery. In between several cities, you can go 25 miles each way, Portsmouth and Huntington, and then you go further to Charleston and Chillicothe. If you drive around the west end of Huntington or downtown Huntington at night, it's a freaking nightmare. We don't have those problems here. We don't have abandoned houses burning down. We don't have homeless to the degree where people are walking around blind every night trying to do it. We don't have that problem. So I'm just concerned, and this is just a concern, that as we perpetuate the discussion is bad about recovery. I think we influence the perception. It's just that all of this is bad. I was really disappointed in the AA meeting thing. That meeting saved my life. Saved my life. And now that meeting is no more. So I just caution that as we go through this, and you guys are voting on the moratorium tonight, as our language from a leadership role maybe could be a little better. Because this town and this county is a beacon of hope in the middle of some very disastrous situations. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Mike. I got two people. I don't know if they had questions for
Give
you.
me a second.
Nate.
I want to respond to your comments, Mike. And Mike, I know you and I respect the heck out of it, really.
Yeah.
And I just want to, from my standpoint, say I don't think that recovery is bad.
Oh, I don't think you do.
I think recovery is a good thing. My concern is overall some people abusing the recovery system for financial gain and putting people in jeopardy as far as their health and safety for some people that are living there and people surrounding. Not all, but some. And it's unfortunate that some ruin it for everybody.
Oh, I agree.
And it's unfortunate that the state of Ohio did not address some of these concerns that we've had until recently, as far as certification, inspections, public health and safety for these facilities. It was just recently brought to our attention that those steps were in place, and the date that was given to us as far as
2020
implementation for that is what's listed on this moratorium.
Yeah. No, I agree. Now, just to counter that, the agencies can get certified right now if they want to.
They can, yes,
So,
but are not required.
not required, but
Right.
they can.
Until-
So that if
until that
you
date.
wanted to, I'm just saying for that, Nate, I'm just saying if you want to incorporate into, as you further your discussion, say, hey, you gotta be state certified. I think you can do that as the city.
We have put some of that language in as far as that goes, but as far as the enforcement piece is what's very difficult for us.
Yeah. I can tell you the state is very on point.
Compared to the resources and the abilities of what the state has to levy. So for those reasons, that's why I'm supporting this, not because I'm against recovery, because
I know.
I don't want you to misunderstand that I'm not sympathetic.
No, I don't think, Nate, I don't take it that way, and I'm not opposed to extending it out as the state works through their thing.
Yes.
At all.
Right.
My big concern is that this dialogue is producing some bad, not saying you guys are out there doing it, but the dialogue is also producing some bad outcomes.
To his point, I think the dialogue has been around those people that are abusing the system.
Absolutely.
And the other thing that hasn't been brought up is that it was starting to infiltrate residential neighborhoods, and those are the things that we tried to combat, and that was our intention.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get all of that, but the dialogue spreads, right? And it comes this way to you guys too. So it's just cautionary.
I appreciate your story and I appreciate your concern for the recovery community. You put a lot of work into that and I appreciate that. Now, that being said, at the very beginning, Nate and I drove Mac probably up the wall with how many times we were contacting him. I can speak for myself. It was 18 months worth of work on legislation.
I was paying attention. I'm okay.
A
lot of times I was thankful I wasn't involved.
At the very beginning, there's the ones that do it well for the most part are still here.
Yeah,
and we appreciate that. But at the very beginning, we were fighting, the bad apples. One bad apple spoils a whole bunch. So that's where that I think that mystique of and that general tone came from was from the people from out of town that were just coming in to set up shop and make a boatload of money. So that's where the legislation began. But also, you're speaking about Portsmouth and Huntington, and I truly believe that because of the legislation we put together, that's why we're not in the situation Huntington or Portsmouth.
I don't disagree to that. Although Huntington's had some unique situations going on that are unbelievably unique. And Portsmouth's, the start of the pill mill started in Portsmouth, so that was an addiction issue.
Well, and that's the thing is the pill mills turned into recovery, so it was a continuous cycle.
I mean, you've read in Dreamland, I take it. Yeah, I can tell.
Eventually, the federal funding for recovery is going to dip. I don't think it's going to ever go away, but that hopefully the problems is solved.
No, and I don't disagree with anything that you guys have done. I think you've been very careful and you've been mindful of how things are going. I'm just saying there's a perception, and there's some things that have been unfortunate outcomes. And I'm not saying you're driving it, Chris, or anybody up there. I just felt like I needed to say that part. That's really all it is.
And the thing about it is as time goes on, the perception, as long as there's good players in town,
Great.
And they're doing what they need to do, that perception.
I don't want bad players.
Going to fade, So, but I'm in favor of the moratorium because I don't trust the state at this point to do what they said they're going to do in terms of this. Because we heard about this back when we were working on it 2 or 3 years ago.
They're certifying places right now, and it is.
I get it,
extensive.
but are they going to put forth the resources to follow through with it?
They are now. And they're
well, we're in the very infancy.
Well, I don't know what you're going to do then. I mean, honestly, if you're going to say that the state is not going to do their job, then what are you going to do?
We're going to continue
just
to
kick the can
to create legislation if we have to fix the problem.
I didn't come down here. I just wanted to tell the story.
And the other thing too is we've already set that bar that the state is trying to set. So in town, ORC overrides us anyway, right? And so we've already set that bar anyway. So in response to that, what are we going to do? We've already done it.
Yeah.
So thanks, Mike.
That certainly didn't mean to be confrontational.
Thank you.
Hey guys.
Hi.
Walt Holbrook, 1543 Florence Avenue, and just have a couple questions following up from our last meeting and maybe a general comment. I brought up that the fire hydrant at the end of Florence and Batham was not workable, didn't have the pressure, and you want to check out, just have someone check it. Have they done that?
On that one, I'm not sure. That's the water distribution fire department's working on that. I got some updates on that.
Okay. That really concerns me with all the work going on our street that we can't have emergency fire switches. The other comment I have, when we were at the meeting last time, one of the things brought up by myself and several other folks was that kind of addressed what you were saying, and what you're saying, Mr. Harvey, regarding a contact person for when we have issues to deal with, and that you're all going to look into that. Has that been established as a contact person? Who it is?
I was going to give an update.
Yeah, he's got some updates.
Okay. And, but based on what you said about you're not here to hear all the stories of woe and everything, I was going to tell you about what happened last Thursday when the street collapsed on floors between curb to curb. 30 foot of sewer lines just went down the drain, so to speak. And they were there till about 10 o'clock working on it. And our concern is that the way the sewer lines are set up, you're digging in 20 plus foot of sand, that the sands below the lines. They dig the trench, it's going to erode, and that's going to continue all the way down the street of Florence Avenue. They probably have about 40 to 50, or more than that, foot of sewage tile, the plastic pipe, to address that when it happens. But that is what we're going to be faced with for goodness knows how long. And I think as councilmen just need to know what's going on in your city. I don't know if there's any communication between the construction company, the engineers, and this group. But there's some of us out there every day talking to them, finding out what's going on, because that's the only way we can get information. Talking to the operators, talking to the site supervisors. Where are we going to park our cars? What do we have to do? How do we get our groceries in? When our doctor's appointments are, what we can do. And I guess you're saying, we talked to the mayor.
Yeah, and Mr. Holbrook, I don't, and Ms. Tessie, I don't mean to sound like we're disengaged from what's going on. Last Wednesday, I went to Lawrence County Economic Development Day at the State House, and I rode with the mayor, and two hours up there, an hour and 48 minutes. I asked him about what happened on Thursday and some of the questions that you guys are asking. Then I read the minutes cover to cover to find out what happened, because as you said, I got like 39 minutes of the meeting once it was over. But we do have minutes for our meetings that are recorded. They're part of the public record. So even though we live stream for transparency, because you used to come and it used to be broadcast, and we've heard that, and we want to be transparent. So they're here as a backup for transparency, to watch, to be able to see what's going on in your city. But there is always a public record of what transpired here. But I hear you, and we aren't disengaged from what's going on, and I promise we're asking those questions, even though we really can't do anything but fund it or not fund it.
The sidewalls are collapsing on the sidewalk now. The expansion joint to my driveway, the contractor cut it today, so when it falls, it's not going to pull the rest of my driveway. That's what we're dealing with. And my house is 25 feet behind that where they cut it. That's how close it is.
Thank you. Haney?
That's why I did talk to Chief Mallmeister on May the 16th. He's aware, and I haven't gotten an update from him, but I'll ask him for an update on that fire hydrant.
Sam? You want to stay in or? Yeah.
I've got other updates too, but let's start on this one. So we met with Allard last Tuesday during our monthly progress meeting. And the way I think they heard a lot of the things about the council meeting before I got to get to him as well. However, we made it clear, especially a few things that you even brought up, where they're leaving a mess on the sidewalks, big pieces of heavy structure that could be stowed away on site where it should be. Some of the reasoning was they're waiting on Columbia Gas to relocate some lines that they've run into, just like they've run into some sewer lines, they've run into some water lines. Once they can get it's like they've got that piece ready to go into the ground, and then you hit a snag. Now you're waiting to get that fixed before you can go and finish that part of the project. But we did tell them they need to make a good faith effort to clean up the streets, for everybody to be able, just to show a good faith effort of keeping the place clean and intact, and with the roads as well. I do know the weather has been an issue, but as they explain this project, the way they're looking at it is two different projects on the road, and storm improvements is everything between Orchard and McPherson, including Batham and Florence being one, and then two being everything between McPherson and Cliff Street as being two. So they're still on track, as they see it, to be able to pave everything by the end of the year. They look to what they're waiting on in Project 1 area is to get all the gas lines that need to be relocated from the gas company side of things, so they can lay down the stabilization and curbing. That will not be a finished asphalt yet. That will be the first layer of the stabilization, but it will be a much better situation than what we're dealing with right now. Also, hopefully, God willing, there is some drier months ahead of us, where they can also keep that down with the dust and everything and manage that without creating massive mud pits, ditches, whatever you want to call it. Anything else on that? Oh, as far as the communication piece of it, anything regarding claims for property-wise, they can go through our office and we can give them the contact information of who they need to handle it with. But as far as our responsibility in handling that, that would be a civil matter between the two parties there. Also, yes, we made the argument that there needs to be more communication as we move forward. Hopefully there's not as many snags, which kind of, we were putting out some info and then bam, they get set back 2 weeks by weather and, collapsed water line that's got to be replaced. So it's kind of hard to kind of keep them updated where we're going to be next in a timely manner. But a better effort to kind of keep everybody updated, send out through the text messages and things that we've been using in the past, but haven't used so much recently. All right, moving on to things going on this week. Thursday night, we have Navy night on the riverfront at 7 o'clock. If you haven't attended before, I encourage everybody to check that out.
Can I ask a question about the gas company?
I don't know much. Gas company. Go ahead.
Well, when they come down there to do the lines?
No was the answer. No was the answer, sorry. This isn't town hall. It's got to be court.
Okay.
I mean, he was willing to answer when I let her ask the question.
You can be quiet or you can leave.
Let me get through this real quick. Friday morning through Sunday evening, South 2nd Street between Park Avenue and Washington will be closed for the King of the Courts basketball tournament, which has moved downtown this year. You will also have Vernon Street between 3rd and Bobby Bear Boulevard set up for vendors, food product vendors as well, with inflatables. It's exciting to see. The farmers market will still be in full force downtown as the basketball tournament goes on, so I have a lot going on down there.
Does that start on Friday?
Friday, it starts on Saturday, but they will have to close it off to start painting the courts, everything on the streets. And it's supposed to be rainy, so I'm trying to get it done before that happens. Saturday evening, fireworks on the riverfront until 9:30. Just know it's sometime around after 9:15 is what I would tell people. Different times I've started before. It's over on the riverfront. bigger announcement. Pickleball tournament is Saturday. Registration's at 8:30. We've only had a handful of signups. We've been pushing hard throughout the tri-state groups throughout the day, but not a lot of traction so far. There we have had one of our sponsors come through and make it cash prizes for first and second place in both men's and women's divisions, which we've been told is much more attractive to people to play in these tournaments for. So looking at that, all that information's been updated on our website for the cash prizes, also on the Facebook event page. So if you want to get out and share that, I know we've got a ton of people playing pickleball, as we were talking about earlier. It's just a matter of getting the word out, because not everybody sees on Facebook today when it's a pay to play on there. You gotta put money behind it. So also one last thing is our door is expanded up to 5th and Park to encompass the Elks Lodge. That also is the area on between 3rd and 4th on Vernon and Park on 4th. That's about it.
Good. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Moving on to communications, we just have the financials if someone would recognize that in miscellaneous. Reports are none. Ordinances, if the clerk would please give ordinance 2417 second reading by title only.
Extending ordinance 2166, 2275, 2336, 2360, and 24-2, imposing a moratorium upon new group residential homes or facilities and declaring an emergency. Second reading.
Bob.
Make a motion, we suspend the rules and give 2417 third reading by title only.
Henny.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Brown.
Aye.
Cleary.
Aye.
Hany.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
Harry.
Rules have been suspended for ordinance 2417. If the clerk could please give third reading to ordinance 2417 by title only.
Extending ordinance 2166, 2275, 2336, 2360, and 2302, imposing a moratorium upon new group residential homes or facilities and declaring an emergency. Third reading.
Haney.
Make a motion to adopt ordinance 2417.
Bob.
Second the motion.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Brown.
Aye.
Cleary.
Aye.
Hany.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
Harry.
Ordinance 2417 is adopted. If the clerk could please give the second reading to ordinance 2418 by title only.
Authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract for the Shear Road water line improvements and declaring an emergency. Separate reading.
Haney.
Make a motion to suspend the rules and give ordinance 2418 third reading.
Bob.
I'll second the motion.
Roll call.
Brown.
Aye.
Cleary.
Aye.
Hany.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
Harry.
Rules have been suspended to give ordinance 2418 third reading by title only. If the clerk could please give ordinance 2418 third reading by title only.
Authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract for the Shear Road water line improvements and declaring an emergency. Third reading.
Bob.
Make a motion to adopt 2418.
Haney.
Second.
Roll call.
Brown.
Aye.
Cleary.
Aye.
Hany.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
Harry.
Ordinance 2418 is adopted. Clerk could please give second reading to ordinance 2420 by title only.
Amending the permanent operating budget for the city of Ironton, state of Ohio for the fiscal year ending December 31, 2024, and declaring an emergency. Second reading.
Bob.
Make a motion, we suspend the rules and give ordinance 2420 third reading by title only.
Henny.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Brown.
Aye.
Cleary.
Aye.
Hany.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
Harry.
Rules have been suspended for ordinance 2420. If the clerk could please give third reading to ordinance 2420 by title only.
Amending the permanent operating budget for the city of Ironton, state of Ohio for the fiscal year ending December 31, 2024, and declaring an emergency. Third reading.
Bob.
Make a motion to adopt 2420.
Haney.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Brown.
Aye.
Cleary.
Aye.
Hany.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Vaughn.
Aye.
Harry.
Ordinance 2420 is adopted. The clerk would please give second reading to ordinance 2421.
Ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into contracts with ODOT for the overlay project and the Oakley Collins Bridge in the city of Ironton and declaring an emergency. Second reading.
Bob.
Make a motion to suspend the rules and give ordinance 2421 third reading by title only.
Perry. Roll call, please.
Brown.
Aye.
Cleary.
Aye.
Hany.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Vaughn. Harry.
Rules have been suspended for ordinance 2421 to give third reading. The clerk would please give ordinance 2421 third reading by title only.
Ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into contracts with ODOT for the overlay project and the Oakley Collins Bridge in the city of Ironton and declaring an emergency. Third reading.
John, did you say that's a zero cost?
Yes, I did.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? Bob.
Move to adopt ordinance 2421.
I got all kinds of things you can take your pick on the second. Perry.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Brown.
Aye.
Cleary.
Aye.
Hany.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Vaughn.
Aye.
Harry.
Ordinance 2421 is adopted. If the clerk could please give first reading to ordinance 2423 by title.
Authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Allard Excavation LLC for the South 3rd Street water line and roadway improvements and declaring an emergency. First reading.
Bob.
I'd like to state that the Finance Committee give this 2423 favorable recommendation. And I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules and give 2423 second and third reading both by title only.
Haney.
Discussion.
Oh, okay. Hang on, I got both. I thought you were second. Perry first.
Mayor, can you tell me what the date was, projected date for this project? I think you mentioned it last week. I apologize, I just don't remember.
It has to start construction by August, I believe, because it's under extension already, because it's federal money.
Yeah, I read that they were closing it for inspection in July, so I would imagine following that.
Okay, is there a deadline? I guess that was probably the better question for those funds.
Are we talking about the bridge or the 3rd Street project?
3rd Street.
The inspection, was that about
Yeah.
the bridge?
It was.
Okay.
It was.
Oh, there has to be in the contract.
It is 305 days.
Thank you.
That's for substantial completion, right?
That's all.
305.
305 days.
And is that from the start of the contract?
After the date when the contract times commence.
Is that your question, Haney?
Well, that was my discussion. I just wanted to make note that, once the contract commences, they've got 305 days for completion of this project. Also, they're expected to complete that in 305 days. No ifs, ands, or buts, or they'll be held under this contract.
Isn't there like a $600 per day penalty or something?
It is, contractor shall pay under $600 for each day that expires up to the time specified in paragraph 4.02 for substantial completion until the work is substantially complete. So yeah, there's $600
Per day.
per day fee or fine or whatever you want to call it if it is not complete.
Any other discussion? I got a motion.
Yeah, I would like to ask, so we would be authorizing entering into that contract. Do we have an anticipation on when that contract would actually be signed? Would that be?
The moment you pass it.
And
sign it. Sorry, I didn't mean to come off that way.
No.
And it depends on, and it also depends on the vote.
Right.
If it's not a super majority, then it's 30 days. If it is, then it's in effect immediately.
And do we know, because I know we received 2 bids for this project, right? And how was that? I know
This one was $100,000 less than that.
Okay. do we, I guess I have a bit of reservation with,
Why?
it's the same. I mean,
What's wrong with it? I mean,
I have reservations
and it's a
on
different situation.
how they're going to tackle both projects well simultaneously.
They've got many projects going on right now. But I, from my understanding, other than the weather and the hiccups with like lines that are then, they're actually still pace. It may be a mess of a place down there, but like as far as like construction oversight from engineers and everything's moving in the right direction on that project.
So we feel like they're adequately staffed
Yeah.
and capable
Yeah.
of tackling both.
Barry?
That's essentially where I'm going with it. I'm speaking to some of the folks that are working down there. They feel that manpower is an issue. They've taken on projects in South Point, Ashland, now a new project in Chillicothe. So I guess it's not that I have anything personally against Allard. I'm just concerned that we are knee-deep in whatever's happening in and around Green Valley. And if they're taking on a second phase in Ironton, then we're going to be bookended essentially by potential issues. So that's just my real concern.
So how did you guys feel about the roundabout projects? You guys
The
like the way they turned out?
roundabout project
They were
was
supposed
fantastic.
to be done this year. They were done last year.
Well, listen, I give total credit
And
to them.
Allard did that project.
I know they did. And I give them all the credit in the world for that. The question, I guess, that I have is what sort of experience do they have in work? And the South 3rd Street issue may not be quite the issue that they're having in Green Valley. The question that I've got is what sort of experience do they have working in a neighborhood setting versus, because listen, they kicked ass on the roundabouts. I was totally in support of the roundabouts. I love the whole thing. South 3rd Street might not be an issue because it's not primarily residential.
It's also the thing that down there versus up here is the whole thing we're trying to fix down there is the fishbowl setting where everything just turns to muck so quickly. And we're on a much higher elevation on South 3rd Street, and you're going to have limited traffic anyway. Cobra's putting in 2 roundabouts simultaneously, Allard as well. So it's just a matter of the geographical area we're dealing with down there. A lot of the corners that were cut by the developers 70-some years ago when they built that place.
I agree with that as well.
And they should have installed all this stuff from the beginning.
I like I said, I don't have anything personally against Allard. These guys, it's clear that they're working hard. It's a manpower issue that is my biggest concern, especially if they're spreading themselves so thin.
I mean, most of it's subbed out, like a lot of it's subbed out anyhow. So
That's really, I just wanted, and Chris, thank you for pointing out the $600 per day penalty. That also is clearly an incentive, so that makes me feel a little bit better about it. So that's all I got. Thank you.
I just, after reading through the contract, they are binded by the contract that we signed for the bathroom North End project and this contract, so 2 separate contracts, but they're both legally binded by the contract. So, that being said, Mayor mentioned the roundabout project, and that went off pretty well. One thing that I do think there's a lot of different ingredients for some of the stuff that's went on. I stated last meeting how low below the water table Green Valley is, and the amount of rain that we've had this year has to be far above the average for the last 10 years. I'm just guessing on that, but the amount of rain we've had this spring it's been crazy. So they're willing to put their hind ends on the line, and if they don't get it completed at $600 a day, I don't know too many contractors that are going to foot the bill for $600 a day not being complete. So that being said, I'm on second Bob's motion.
Roll call, please.
Brown.
Aye.
Cleary.
Aye.
Hany.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
Harry.
Abstain. Manpower. I'm concerned with the manpower issues. No.
Stands for conflict. That's fine.
Thank you.
Rules have been suspended to give ordinance 2423 second and third reading by title only. I know you guys had some discussion, so we'll do it after the readings. So if the clerk could please give ordinance 2423 second and third reading by title only.
Authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Allard Excavation LLC for the South Third Street water line and roadway improvements and declaring an emergency. Second reading. Authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Allard Excavation LLC for the South Third Street water line and roadway improvements and declaring an emergency. Third reading.
Same. Discussion.
I was just saying, without 6 on this, this will also set us back 30 days, which puts us at a different interest rate on the loan that goes into this, as that was discussed on the finance committee.
What date does that take effect?
It needs to be submitted by the end of this week, I believe, to be on the June 1st calendar.
Hany.
I was going to state the timeline. We're dealing with federal funds, and we all know the last time the city missed the deadline on federal funds for street paving, it was headline news, and I wasn't a part of that circus, but that's, it is what it is. The government's going to give us funding, we need to take it and use it wisely. So, we're on a timeline here. These are projects that people have been asking for years. We finally got the ability to do it, so I'm all for it because we're just moving the city forward and we're getting things done that people have been complaining about for 15, 20 years. So.
There's nothing you said that I disagree with, Chris. I don't know who the other contractor was, but in my mind, it's just me thinking out loud. And there's no guarantee, I understand that, from any other contractor. But for the city to save $100,000 on a project from contractor A versus contractor B, if past is prologue, past really means present, if past is prologue, then that $100,000 savings really might not amount to much for us in the event. So that's
Well, can we know who the other contractor was that bid on that? Do we have that?
Southern Ohio Excavating is the other contractor on the Green Valley Bathroom project for the sewer portion of it. And it's not always just about the monetary reason. They review everything based on what's in that contract that they provide on the bid. But I know, like, on the high level, it was $100,000 less.
That's Arcadia's reviewing that.
Yeah. That's all.
Chris?
Make a motion to suspend.
Yeah.
Make a motion to adopt ordinance 2423.
Jacob?
I'll second.
Roll call. Adopt. For 2423.
Brown.
Aye.
Cleary.
Aye.
Hany.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
Harry.
No.
Ordinance 2423 is adopted. Moving on to resolutions. If the clerk could please give resolution 2422 reading by title only.
Authorizing the mayor of the city of Ironton to enter into addendum number 2, joint development agreement to develop a Southern Ohio regional sports complex and travel recreational complex in Lawrence County, city of Ironton, and declaring emergency.
Hany.
Make a motion to pass resolution 2422.
Klein.
Second.
Did you have a discussion?
No, second.
Roll call, please.
Brown.
Aye.
Cleary.
Aye.
Hany.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
Harry.
Aye.
Resolution 2422 passes. The clerk will please give ordinance, or did I say ordinance?
Yeah.
Resolution 2422 passes. If the clerk would please give resolution 2424 reading by title.
Authorizing the mayor to enter into an electricity aggregation agreement through Aspen Energy Corp. when terms are favorable and declaring an emergency.
Nate.
Discussion. Mayor, whenever Aspen brings the agreement to you for this with whatever energy company we're purchasing that in bulk, you also provide the terms for having Aspen as our broker.
Yeah, and from when you said that earlier, I was trying to explain. As far as I know, the Aspen one is separate every time. So it's just been revolving since day one when they started this. I don't know if it was 15 or 17. It was during one of those municipal elections.
So if you wouldn't care, could you shoot me whatever Aspen agreement you have
Yeah.
to use them as a broker?
Yeah, I don't think that'll have anything to do with this at all.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
Haney.
Make a motion to pass resolution 2424.
Perry.
I'll say.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Brown.
Aye.
Cleary.
Aye.
Hany.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Vaughn.
Aye.
Harry.
Resolution 2424 passes. Moving on to miscellaneous. Nate.
Make a motion to accept, file, and make part of the minutes, the April 2024 financials.
Perry. Roll call, please.
Brown.
Aye.
Cleary.
Aye.
Hany.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Vaughn.
Aye.
Harry.
Fine.
Sorry, I had a few more things. I'd like to request 3 separate meetings. First, I'd like to request Mr. Hulk annexation meeting on June 13th, prior to our regular meeting. Those parcels for that sports complex will be acquired by then. And request the solicitor to be there also as far as the annexation process and a petition, and advice for petition to the Orange County Commissioners.
How much Jacob's,
I'm the chair.
yeah, Jacob's chair.
15 minutes.
It's maybe 5:30, just in case we have finance.
Do 5:30 and the finance meeting will follow. Okay, call that.
See, you want to call that?
Yeah,
It's
I'll
your
call
chair.
that, yeah.
Otherwise, it takes two other members.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure.
Procedure.
Yeah. Who else is on it?
It's you, Nate, and Chris. Haney. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good with that.
So moved. So called. June 13th annexation committee
5:30.
by Chairman Hawk for annexation committee.
Council Chambers.
Yes. Nate.
Then I'd like to go ahead and call a finance committee meeting to immediately follow on June 13th. Anticipated pump station number 3 will be supposed to be out the bid, and whenever we get that, to accept that, we can do that throughout the finance committee. And then I wanted to see if that, with that, if you could ask Mike Pemberton to kind of give us he doesn't have to be here, but just like a written, like an update of all this pumps, what he's done with all the pump station stuff. I think it was number 7 was next.
Yeah.
But if you could just a summary of that, I would appreciate that.
For the flood levy.
Huh?
For the flood levy.
That's right.
What was the flood? What did he say about flood levy?
For the next finance committee meeting, pump station number 3 will be going out to contract. So I'd like to have some information from Mike from all the pump station improvements, so we can share that in our meeting next time. Flood levy coming out in November.
Satisfied. What was your question?
Paperwork had to be submitted for that to be on the ballot.
Flood levy? Paperwork?
Yeah. Did that?
We voted on that.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
That was to get the information from the auditor, that's been taken over. We have, I don't know if we've received that yet from the county auditor. Once we receive that, we have to pass another ordinance to put it on the ballot. It has to be 90 days before the election, so you're talking in August, 1st of August. That's the deadline to get it on the November ballot. But we do have to pass another ordinance to do that.
That's right.
So we didn't get that because there was a second one.
There, yeah, he's talking about a second.
Yeah.
No, there was a second ordinance that we passed
Right.
that had corrections.
Right.
And that was already delivered to them. We just haven't heard back from the auditor. Right. Okay, got it. The second meeting I'd like to request is a strategic plan meeting. I've had concerns. I've heard concerns of residents regarding the last mayoral election, as far as how the runoff went, as far as the short time between the general election and the runoff, the change in election venues, so forth. So and I agree. I didn't get to vote in the second one because I was out of town. Just me. There was no advance voting. I've had other people concerns on that. I'd like to have discussions on that process as far as runoff and so forth.
Nate, strategic planning is me, with Robbie and Jacob. Are you guys available the day before our next meeting on Wednesday, June 12th? Parade. Yeah.
Also have charity fair is Saturday.
You what?
I'll have to get a sitter. Yeah.
Well, is there a better time that works for you?
Tuesday afternoon would be better.
Is there a better time? Time on Wednesday?
No, I hear you.
Yeah, Wednesday usually. I'm just busy.
Childcare issues.
What was the alternative?
Tuesday the 11th.
I'm also good.
I'm on call that day, but it shouldn't affect my being here as long as we can do it. Can we do it at 6 that day?
Yeah.
Is that all right with you?
That's great.
Is that all right with you, Nate?
Yes. Can we have this? Would you be available for
Yeah, me agree.
that? Or somebody?
Tuesday.
I will say this.
Thomas Jefferson or George Washington?
Yeah, the Board of Elections determines how the election. Now, you can make some recommendations, requests. They determine how many precincts there are going to be, where they're going to be. That's all up to them. The more precincts they have, they can charge the city for that because it's a special election we're asking for. You just about have to have it within 2 weeks of the regular election because the charter has people sworn in December 1st, less than a month after the election. So
Well, I guess what I'm trying to say, I don't know, maybe that's the issue. Maybe it's the
you can
sworn in.
change the charter, but people have to vote on that.
I understand that, but I want to talk through some of these.
No, that's
Just,
fine. I'm just pointing out
yes,
the
yes.
legalities of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Regardless, it's going to be it's a good discussion for strategic planning because regardless, it's going to be a charter change. Whether it's to the runoff process, whether it's to
To
You can say
that
office
point,
or whatever.
it's going to be a charter change.
and to that point, if we do want to change, I think the change should come this next election, or for a vote in November, while it's fresh on people's minds as far as the last one. And again, that would require an August
Certification.
yes.
Yeah.
So
Are you done?
no.
Okay. Good.
So when is that meeting?
June 13th.
No.
June 11th at 6 o'clock. Sorry. Strategic planning meeting, so called.
And then originally, James Casely and Kevin Wood were supposed to be coming on July 25th to discuss the EPA negotiations and where that's at for the sewer plant. That meeting is now July 11th. They're going to be our invited guests on July 11th. And I don't have I'm just asking you, Craig, sometime after that, once we get there and we get some determination from the Ohio Department of Development with that grant, to have some discussions on ERUs and sewer rates.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Amy?
Could we get a representative from the Board of Elections here for that meeting? To I think we could invite them.
Yeah.
I mean, they have how many board members? Four. So at least one could come or two, just to hear it and see.
Or if they could even bring some things like a breakdown for costs for keeping the current precincts, or I have some questions.
I
just thought of people that I talked to.
Well, my thinking was if we're going to sit here and try to change something, we need to know if they're on board or not. So it'd be better. I think
I agree.
Could you send
recommendations?
Right.
Could you send a letter on behalf of the city council requesting a representative from the Board of Elections Tuesday, June 11th at 6 p.m. in Ironton City Council chambers for questions regarding Ironton mayor runoff elections and miscellaneous issues regarding Ironton municipal elections? Everybody okay? That's it, Reed.
That's all. Thank you.
Any?
That was it.
Okay.
In response to Mr. Luke's, I wanted to chime in, but he was already seated. He asked what can be done. If we are setting ordinances and ORC doesn't seem to be in lockstep. One of the things that I think actually it was you and Chris pointed out way early along, in my tenure here, was to get them to essentially self-police. And so I wanted to give kudos to the coalition. Probably doesn't seem like it happens a lot, and I haven't attended any of those meetings in quite a while, but I do hear from different people who work in that industry and different people in the community that they are doing some things behind the scenes to help clean that up, so that it doesn't have to completely always just fall on the shoulders of council. Just wanted it as a part of the record that Mike could hear that the coalition that his employer is a part of is actually helping in some small way.
And specific to that Christina Burns representing that group shows up at least monthly, if not, if not bi-monthly, to give us some kind of update and to pay attention, answer questions.
She was one of the things too. It's like he said, it's an option now, but we'll have a team this time next year. She's the one that brought that to our attention. So I think that coalition, like I said, to your credit, both of you guys, it's working for as efficiently as it can without any real power.
Bob?
Move to adjourn.
Roll call.
Brown.
Aye.
Cleary. Hany.
Aye.
Harvey.
No.
Tom.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
Barry.
Oh.